Imagine a giant, beautiful castle made of heavy gray stone. It has tall towers that reach up into the clouds and big wooden doors that stay locked to keep secrets inside. In this castle, there are kings, queens, princes, and princesses. They wear fancy clothes and shiny crowns. For a long time, everything looked perfect on the outside. Everyone smiled and waved at the people. But behind those big doors, a huge storm is brewing. It is a story about a secret fight between two very powerful women. One is Princess Anne, who is very tough and always follows the rules. The other is Queen Camilla, the wife of King Charles. Princess Anne has just said something that no one expected. She told Queen Camilla that she is not allowed to be part of the big party for Prince William when he becomes the king. This is a very big deal because it changes everything. It is like being told you cannot come to the biggest birthday party of the year. This secret has made everyone in the palace feel very nervous. People are whispering in the hallways. They are wondering what will happen next. Is the royal family falling apart? Who will be the boss of the future? This is a story about power, family, and big secrets that are finally coming out into the light. Inside the most secret rooms of the palace, where only the most important people are allowed to go, something very surprising has happened. This event has sent big shock waves through the entire royal family. It is like a giant earthquake that no one saw coming. Right now, the British royal family is facing one of its biggest problems in a very long time. Princess Anne is a person that everyone respects because she is very disciplined. This means she works very hard and always does what she is supposed to do. She loves the rules and the traditions of her family more than anything else. Reports say that she has given a very tough message to Queen Camilla. The message was very clear and firm. She told Camilla that she will have no part in the big ceremony when Prince William becomes the king. This ceremony is called a coronation, and it is the most important day for any royal person. Anne's words were very strong. She did not use many words, but the ones she used were very serious. This has started a lot of quiet talking behind closed doors. People are starting to pick sides, and the feeling in the palace has become very tense. The future of the family feels like it could change at any moment, and no one is quite sure what will happen tomorrow. For many hundreds of years, the royal family has lived by a set of rules. They like things to stay the same. They like big ceremonies and looking perfect for the people. This was the one thing that no one was really ready for. The family has lived through wars and big problems before, but they always stayed together. They like to know exactly who is the most important and who stands in what spot. But as Prince William started to get ready to be the next king, things began to feel a bit strange inside the palace. It was supposed to be a very easy change. Everyone was supposed to be happy and helpful, but instead, it started to feel very tight and uncomfortable. It was not a loud fight with screaming. It was a quiet kind of tension. It was the kind of feeling you get when people look at each other across a long dinner table but do not say a word. It was the kind of feeling when someone's name is left off a guest list for a party on purpose. This quiet coldness was spreading through the palace like a fog that would not go away. Then Princess Anne did something that shocked everyone who watches the royal family. Anne is known for being very strong and for always doing her duty for the country. She does not usually get into fights. She does not like to be on the news. She did not call a big meeting or yell at anyone in front of the cameras. She did not even raise her voice at all. Instead, she acted with very calm and careful precision. She made a move that was very smart and very quiet. All of a sudden, Queen Camilla was not part of the plans for Prince William's big day anymore. At first, people thought it was just a mistake. They thought maybe someone forgot to call her or that she was just too busy. But as the weeks went by, it became very clear that this was not a mistake. Big meetings were happening with very important people. Secret papers were being passed around the palace. Important choices about the ceremony were being made every single day. And in all of those papers and meetings, Queen Camilla's name was never seen, not even one time. The people who were helping with the plans noticed how quietly it was all happening. There was no big mess or crying. Prince William's most trusted helpers moved very fast. They seemed to know exactly what to do, almost as if they had already talked about it. They shared secret documents only with a very small group of people. They kept their conversations very private. The planning for the future king continued every day, but Camilla was not in the room. What made it even more surprising was how she found out about it. There was no big talk or polite letter to explain things to her. No one sat her down to tell her the news. Instead, she started to hear questions from her own workers. They were confused. They asked her why she had not seen a certain note or why a big plan had not been sent to her office. At first, her team thought it was just a small error by a secretary. But when they called to ask questions, no one answered them. That is when the truth finally came out. This was being done on purpose. Inside the house where Camilla lives, which is called Clarence's house, the news was very hard to hear. Camilla had spent a lot of years trying to make people like her. She worked very hard to show everyone that she belonged beside King Charles. She wanted the public to accept her as the queen. She thought she had finally done a good job and that everyone was happy with her. She believed her spot in the family was safe forever. But now, without any warning at all, she was being pushed away from the most important moment in the family's future. It was a very sad and confusing time for her. But because she is a royal, she did not say anything to the public. She did not complain to the newspapers. She did not try to tell the press that she was upset. She stayed very silent. But that silence was very heavy. It felt like a big wall had been built between her and the rest of the family. In the palace, being left out is never an accident. It is always a plan. Some people who work there say that Princess Anne did this just to protect Prince William. They think she wanted to make sure the future king did not have any distractions or problems. They believe that keeping things simple and narrow would help everyone stay focused on William. They think that having the family look united is more important than anyone's hurt feelings. But other people think there is a deeper reason. They see it as a big fight over power. It is a fight over who gets to decide what the monarchy will look like in the future. It is a fight over who will be the most influential person in the castle. It is about the legacy of the crown. Whoever gets to make the rules now will change how things work for many years to come. No matter what the real reason was, one thing is very clear. The feeling in the palace has changed. Without a big speech or a loud argument, a line has been drawn in the sand. Queen Camilla, who used to be in the middle of everything, is now standing on the outside. She is not in the room where the big choices are made. In royal history, when a line is drawn like this, it is very hard to fix. It usually stays that way for a long time. This makes people wonder why Princess Anne made such a big choice. Was she just trying to be loyal to William, or was she tired of things after many years of feeling tense? How big is the gap between these two women? This quiet fight is threatening to change the whole monarchy forever. It is a battle that has been happening in the shadows for a long time. For a very long time, Princess Anne has done her job with great care. She has been there for every big event, from the day Prince William was born to the day Prince Harry got married. She has served her family and her country with a seriousness that is like a soldier. She does not like drama. She does not like to show off. She does not need people to clap for her. She believes that being a royal is a big responsibility, not a way to be famous. She thinks the crown is something you must take care of, not a stage for acting. When someone like Anne changes her mind, even just a little bit, everyone in the palace feels it. But even though she looks very calm, she has been feeling a lot of stress for a long time. And Queen Camilla is right in the middle of that stress. From the very first day that King Charles and Camilla started appearing in public as a couple, Princess Anne was very careful. She was always polite, she was always correct. But she was also very distant. She did the jobs she had to do, but she did not do anything extra. She did not go to charity events with Camilla. She did not have warm talks with her in public. She only did what her rank said she had to do. While other people in the family started to like Camilla more, Anne kept a very clear boundary. It was not a loud rivalry. It was about order. Anne believes that you have to earn your spot in the family by working hard for many years. She thinks the monarchy only works if everyone knows their place and follows the rules. Camilla's journey has been very long. She went from being someone that many people did not like to being the queen consort. She worked on her image for a long time. But Princess Anne never seemed to be fully sure that people can just change their spot in the hierarchy. One person who works in the palace said that Anne once said something very interesting. She said that some people look at duty as a heavy weight they must carry, but others look at it like a piece of jewelry they wear to look pretty. She did not say who she was talking about, but many people thought they knew. When King Charles became the king, things changed even more. Camilla started to speak more in meetings. She started to help more with the planning of big events. To some people, it looked like she was just doing her job. To Anne, it might have looked like she was trying to take too much power. Behind the closed doors of the palace, there were reportedly some disagreements. At big parties with important people from other countries, the workers noticed things. They saw Princess Anne quietly correcting Camilla. One time, at a big meeting with a famous person from another country, Camilla tried to lead the conversation. But Anne smoothly stepped in. She took over the talk and made sure the focus was back on the traditional ways. There was no yelling, but it was very clear who was in charge. In Anne's mind, this was not about being mean. It was about protecting the family. As Camilla started to have more influence, Anne became more worried. She started having private talks with Prince William. She did not talk about whether she liked Camilla or not. She talked about the structure of the monarchy. She warned him that the family needs to be very clear about who has the power. Anne told William that if the rules get blurry, the family becomes weak. William is already trying to run a modern monarchy while everyone is watching him very closely. He cannot afford to have confusion in his own house. These talks were a big turning point. After that, Camilla's job in the planning for the future started to get smaller. It was not done in a way that the public would notice, but the people in the palace saw it. It was not a punishment. It was a way to contain her. Anne chose to be silent instead of making a big scene. But what Anne saw coming, William had to deal with face to face. Not long ago, William and Camilla had a private meeting. William told her exactly what he expected for the future. He was very respectful, but he was also very firm. He told her there would be new boundaries. The answer William got was not what he expected. For a long time, the tension between William and Camilla has been growing. You could only see it in small ways. Maybe a pause that was too long or a look that lasted a second too much. In public, they still looked like they got along. They smiled and shook hands. They followed all the old traditions. But inside the palace walls, things were shifting. The big moment happened at a house called Clarence House. This meeting was supposed to make things better. Instead, it showed how big the problem really was. William is a person who is very disciplined. He understands that as the Prince of Wales, he must always look calm. He does not show his frustration very often. But as the plans for his own coronation started to happen, he began to feel very unsettled. William felt like Camilla's role was getting too big. She was going to more important meetings. She was acting like she had a lot of authority. William felt like the past was starting to take over the space that should belong to his future. This was not just about his feelings as a stepson. This was about his legacy as a king. When he asked for the meeting, he was speaking as the man who would one day wear the crown. He spoke very calmly and picked his words with great care. He asked for space. He wanted the space to decide what his reign would look like. He wanted to pick the symbols and the style of his own time as king. He knew Camilla was the queen, but he made it clear that the big choices for his coronation belonged to him and his advisors. William did not yell or say mean things. He just made a firm request. He told her she needed to step back from the inner circle of planning. Camilla reportedly laughed a little bit. She acted like it was not a big deal. She thought the ceremonies were just about fancy clothes and old traditions. She did not think they were as important as William did. Her reaction made William feel even more serious. He had spent many years holding back his feelings. In that moment, he said something very forceful. He told her, "This is not your crown to shape." After he said those words, the room went very quiet. There was no more talking. William just nodded his head and walked out of the room. He had made his point. After that meeting, William made a plan. He teamed up with Princess Anne because he knew she was loyal and did not like drama. Together, they changed the plans for the coronation. They changed who was invited. They changed what would happen at the meetings. They started having meetings without certain people being there. There was no big announcement. They just quietly changed the way things were being done. In the royal world, power is not about what you say on TV. It is about who gets to go to the meetings. Camilla found out about the changes not by a phone call, but by being left out. She expected to go to a meeting, but it happened without her. She expected to give her ideas, but no one asked for them. First, her team thought it was just a mistake. But as they were ignored more and more, they realized what was happening. She had not been forgotten. She had been removed on purpose. Reports say she went to talk to King Charles in private. She wanted to know what was going on. She had worked for many years to fix her image and be accepted. Now she felt like her power was slipping away. King Charles is a very careful man. He did not fight back much. His silence told her everything she needed to know. For Camilla, this was very painful. She realized that the monarchy was changing, and it was changing in a way that did not include her at the center. She did not give up, though. She started doing more public events to show she was still there, but it was clear that things were different now. While this quiet fight for power was happening, someone else was stepping up. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was moving forward with a very calm and steady spirit. She did not have to fight for space. She did not have to argue with anyone. She just naturally took over. People really like her and admire her. This makes people wonder if the whole fight was really about leaving someone out, or if it was actually about who would be the next leaders. Catherine does not demand attention. She does not put out big statements to the press. She just does her job with grace. Her rise was not forced or loud. It happened because she was patient and focused. People who work in the palace say that she has been helping a lot with the early plans for William's coronation. Catherine is helping with more than just the guest list. She is helping to decide the whole feeling of the ceremony. She wants it to be a mix of old traditions and new ideas. She wants the ceremony to mean something to the people who live in the world today. She especially wants young people to feel like they are part of it. It was her idea to have young people walk in the procession. She also wanted to find a way to honor Queen Elizabeth II while still looking forward to the future. What makes Catherine special is how she shares her ideas. She is always calm and does not get upset. She has earned the trust of everyone who works in the palace. While Camilla's way of doing things caused some problems, Catherine moved through the palace with ease. Catherine's influence is not something that needs to be shouted from the rooftops. You can feel it in the way she acts and the way she thinks. One person in the palace said that William is the strength, but Catherine is the balance. Together, they are not just planning a party. They are deciding what the future of the royal family will be. There were no big news stories about her becoming more powerful, but everyone knows it is happening. People are tired of scandals and problems. They like that Catherine is steady and real. She looks like a queen even though she does not have the title yet. She has earned people's trust by what she does, not just by who she is. She never tried to take anyone's place. She just did what she was supposed to do, and it worked. Every choice Catherine makes sends a message. She is at the heart of the future, but even as she and William make their plans, the palace is still a very complicated place. There are many different feelings inside. A secret meeting at Windsor Castle almost changed everything. King Charles called Princess Anne to have a talk. It was a very tense and personal conversation. Charles could feel that Camilla was upset. She was feeling the pressure of being left out. Charles tried to get Anne to change her mind. He wanted her to let Camilla back into the planning for William's coronation. To Camilla, being left out was a huge embarrassment. To Charles, it felt like his family was breaking apart. He was speaking as a husband who loved his wife. Charles reportedly told Anne, "She is my wife," and he sounded very sad. But Anne did not change her mind. She did not have to yell. She just gave a simple and final answer. As the palace tries to find a new balance, one thing is certain. Camilla's role is getting smaller. She might just become a person who shows up for ceremonies but does not make any big choices. Or maybe she has a secret plan to get her power back. We will have to wait and see. King Charles sat in silence for a long time after that talk. He realized that even a king cannot always get what he wants. He knew that Anne was very strong and would not move. She was protecting the old ways and the future of the crown. The fight between Anne and Charles ended with no compromise. Anne stood her ground like a soldier guarding a gate. She was not acting as a sister. She was acting as a protector of the family's rules. Camilla had been his partner through so many hard years, but now she was the reason the family was divided. Charles wanted everyone to be happy and get along, but Anne had drawn a line and she would not let anyone cross it. The meeting ended very fast. There were no nice words to make things feel better. Anne just nodded and left the room. With her departure, the idea that the family was altogether vanished. There would be no fake smiles for the cameras. Behind the scenes, the balance of the monarchy had been shaken very hard. What happened next was a quiet kind of change. Anne's defiance and William's support for her created waves all through the palace. Even the king had to face the truth. Power in the royal family is not just about having a crown. It is about tradition and loyalty. It is about the people who are willing to fight for the rules. The workers in the palace had to work very hard to write statements that did not show the family was fighting. They picked every word with great care. When the news came out, it sounded very calm and normal. It said that the senior royals were all working together to support Prince William. But there was one thing missing from the news. Camilla's name was not there. In the royal world, silence says more than words. To the people who watched the family closely, leaving out her name proved what they already thought. Camilla had been pushed to the side on purpose. She was being made invisible. Inside the palace, things were not calm at all. Secret notes were sent to everyone with strict rules. They were told not to guess about what was happening. They were told to stick to the plan. And most importantly, they were told never to mention Camilla when they talked about the coronation. This was a plan to contain the problem. They wanted to look like they were all together while they were actually changing who had the power. But you can only hide the truth for so long. The cracks were starting to show. People who were on Camilla's side felt very betrayed. They were angry and upset. Some people wanted to speak out and tell the news what was happening. Others told them to be patient and wait. For Camilla, the damage was already done. In a world where how people see you is everything, being made invisible is a huge humiliation. It is like being sent away without actually leaving. Every time her name was left out, it showed that she was losing her influence. The palace was revealing its secret fights. Did King Charles really agree with all of this? Or was Prince William starting to show that he is the one in charge now? It seems like Princess Anne and Prince William are the ones making the big choices now. The truth usually finds a way to come out eventually. This time it came from a letter that was supposed to be a secret. Princess Anne wrote it to her brother, King Charles, but someone found out what was in it. The letter showed how much stress and worry there was behind the palace walls. Anne wrote the letter a few weeks before Camilla was pushed out of the planning. She used very formal words, but you could tell she was feeling very strongly. She was worried about the survival of the royal family. She thought about the heavy weight of the crown. She warned that if the family did not have strong leadership, it would just become a big show with no meaning. Anne was worried that personal feelings were becoming more important than the job of being a royal. She said that trust is very easy to break. She told Charles that he needed to be a leader for the whole country, not just a husband. She said that Prince William was the one who could save the crown. She described him as a strong pillar who could lead the family into the future. Her letter was very tough, and she did not apologize for it. She said that sometimes you have to make very hard choices to make sure the monarchy lasts for a long time. She told Charles he needed to think about the future, not just his own comfort. This letter was a big look into the secret world of the palace. As more questions are asked about the family, everyone is looking at the public. What do the people think? Who do they like the most? Public opinion is very important for the royal family to survive. In the modern world, what people think can change how power works. Behind the palace doors, choices are made based on who the public likes. Princess Anne has a great reputation because she works so hard. She does not try to be a star, she just does her work. When there is a crisis, she is the one who keeps everything steady. She sends a message that the family will keep going no matter what. The numbers show that people really like Prince William and Princess Catherine. They are the most trusted members of the family. They look modern, but they also respect history. This balance is very important to people today. When the public likes certain people, those people get more power inside the family. Planning for a coronation is not done in a vacuum. The family looks at what the people want. If they see that William and Catherine have the most support, they will make sure they are the stars of the show. Limiting the power of others is just a way for the institution to survive. It is not always personal, but it is always strategic. Princess Anne's job in helping William is part of this plan. She knows that the trust of the people is the most important thing. If she thinks that trust belongs to William and Catherine, she will do everything to protect them. She wants them to have the space to lead the next era of the monarchy. From her point of view, anything that makes that focus blurry is a danger. The crown lives because people believe in it. If people lose that belief, the crowns and palaces will not matter. This is why power is shifting. The titles might stay the same, but the real influence goes to the people the public loves the most. In times of trouble, the royal family has always found a way to change. They put their most respected people in the front. Anne has earned a lot of respect through her many years of service. This gives her a lot of power inside her own family. The roles people play in a coronation are very symbolic. They show who is the future and who is the past. If William and Catherine are the bridge to the next chapter, then everything will be planned around them. Every guest, every appearance, and every choice is a message to the world. Anne understands this better than almost anyone else. By protecting the people with the most trust, she is protecting the whole monarchy. This long game of power and influence will decide what happens next. The royal family is like a giant clock with many small parts moving inside. Right now, those parts are shifting. Princess Anne and Prince William are making sure the clock keeps ticking in the right direction. Queen Camilla might have to find a new way to be part of the family, or she might just stay in the shadows. The future is being written right now. It is a story of tradition, family, and the power of the people. No matter what happens, the palace will keep its secrets, but the world will always be watching to see who wears the crown in the end. What do you think about what Princess Anne did? Do you think she was right to protect Prince William? We want to know what you think. Please leave a comment and tell us your thoughts. And do not forget to like and subscribe so you can hear more about the secret world of the royal family. There is always more to discover behind those big gray stone walls.